We only want to go back to what we were, the moderate Islam that is open to the world, open to all the religions.
There are moderate Muslims, but there is no moderate Islam. That is an unpleasant fact, but it is a fact.
There is no moderate Islam. There is no European Islam or that kind of nonsense.
There is no version of Islam. There is no sect, no school of jurisprudence, no historical tradition, no teaching of Islam that does not include the imperative to wage war against unbelievers and to subjugate them under the rule of Islamic law.
They use the terminology Islamophobia. It's just to stop you from criticizing the Islamists and the Muslim Brotherhoods or all form of radicalism.
Can Islamic fundamentalism be put back in the bottle? Can it ever truly be eradicated? That's the question shaking up the internet after an old clip of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman resurfaced, where he boldly declared that he would destroy Islamic extremism and promote a moderate Islam. But take a hard look at the world today. Is that promise even remotely close to reality? Or are we seeing Islamist extremism spreading deeper, far beyond the borders of the Muslim world? Let's rewind to 2017, the Future Investment Initiative Conference in Riyadh. A confident and ambitious MBS, fresh into his role as the de facto ruler of Saudi Arabia, looks straight into the cameras and vows to eliminate Islamic extremism. He calls it his mission, his fight, and for a while it seemed like he was making real moves, cracking down on religious police, lifting bans on women driving, and pushing a Vision 2030 agenda that painted Saudi Arabia as a hub of modernity and openness.
We only want to go back to what we were, the moderate Islam that is open to the world, open to all the religions. We will not waste 30 years of our lives in dealing with extremist ideas. We will destroy them today. We want to live a normal life, a life that translates our moderate religion, our good customs. We coexist and live with the world and contribute to the development of our country and the world. We will eradicate the rest of extremism very soon.
But fast forward to 2025. Let's step outside Saudi Arabia. What do we see? We see radical Islam embedding itself in Western democracies. We see mass immigration fueling a crisis in Europe, where rising crime rates are increasingly linked to Muslim migrant populations. Paris, Berlin, London, once vibrant global capitals, now facing the harsh reality of parallel societies, Sharia-controlled zones, and growing radicalism. In Sweden, police admit they've lost control over migrant-dominated neighborhoods. In France, Islamist attacks have reignited fears of another Charlie Hebdo massacre. In the U.S., universities are seeing open support for terrorist organizations and anti-Semitic activities in the wake of the Israel-Gaza conflict. So let's ask the real question. If MBS, the most powerful man in the Islamic world, can't put extremism back in the bottle within his own borders, how can the West possibly contain it? Yes, Saudi Arabia has changed under MBS. Women can drive, foreign tourists can visit, mega projects like NEOM are turning heads. But is Saudi Arabia really shifting toward moderate Islam? The kingdom still jails critics, still enforces harsh blasphemy laws, and still maintains strict Islamic governance. And let's not forget, Saudi Arabia is the birthplace of Wahhabism, the very ideology that fueled groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So if the head of the snake can't fully dismantle extremism, what hope does the rest of the world have? This isn't just about Saudi Arabia. This is about a global crisis. MBS's promise may have been well-intentioned, but the reality is clear. Islamic extremism isn't fading, it's spreading. And Western leaders, trapped in the dogma of political correctness, refuse to acknowledge the threat. Instead of defending their own values, they bend over backward to accommodate radical elements. Europe's no-go zones are expanding. Islamist separatism is growing stronger. And yet, world leaders act as if MBS's words alone can stop the tide. So we come back to the question, can Islamic fundamentalism ever be put back in the bottle? Or is the world witnessing an irreversible tide? If even the most powerful leader in the Islamic world can't fully uproot extremism, then who can? And more importantly, who is even trying?